And for this practice, you're not going to need a lot. If you have a yoga mat, you can use that. If you just have a soft space on the floor, a carpeted room somewhere, then that's great too. But as it's Yin Yoga, all the postures are seated or lying down, or one of them. So everything is nice and close to the ground. You don't need a lot of space, but just a little bit of space is probably helpful. Props-wise, if you have a blanket and a pillow or a couple of blankets lying around the house, then they're great to have as well. You don't need anything in particular, but if you want to have a yoga bolster perhaps, or a block, you can grab those as well. Perhaps you've lit a candle, make this feel really nice and luxurious and cozy, and just get ready to relax here. So my intention for this class is just to guide you through a practice that creates space in your body, your mind, and your heart to ease any stress or anxiety that you might be feeling and create a sense of calm and safety within, which I think we could all use right about now. So Julie's really looking forward to this. Me too. Hi, Alex, as well. I can see you there. Okay, so great to have you all here. I'm just going to close this chat down now. Okay, great. So when you're ready, you can get yourself nice and comfortable on your mat. If you have socks on like I have, then that's great. You can keep them on. But just get yourself nice and comfortable on your mat in an easy seat. I'm not going to be here for too long, but if you want to sit on top of anything like a blanket or a bolster, a block, anything that you have, just to elevate your hips, you can. And then just let your shoulders get nice and soft. Relax them down your back, away from your ears, and close your eyes. Just take a moment here to feel everything settling. From wherever you've been in your day, which is probably at home. But more in terms of the mental space that you're occupying. The emotional or energetic space. Just start to feel yourself softly landing right here. Just let yourself take a deep inhale, filling all the way up from your pelvic bowl up towards the tops of your lungs. And as you exhale, take an easy sigh out through your mouth, letting something go. 2 more like that, big inhale. An easy exhale. 1 more, inhale. And exhale completely. Hopefully now you feel just a little bit more grounded in your body. So when you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. I'm going to come into a child's pose here. Just as gently and slowly as you can, there's no rush at all in this practice. Come onto your hands and knees. When you get there, you can either open your knees wide, bring your big toes together, and stretch your arms out in front of you here, just letting your elbows soften, your shoulders and your forehead soften down towards the ground. Or if you prefer and it feels a little bit easier for your shoulders, you can draw the knees together. Let your torso rest down on your thighs, rest your forehead. You can take your arms behind you with your palms facing up towards the sky. So whichever variation you're taking, just let your whole body start to sink into the earth. And child's pose is usually used as a resting posture because it helps cultivate the calming energy that we're probably all looking for right now. So we're going to be here in this one for 3 minutes. And if you need to support yourself with any props that you have, if your hips don't quite reach your heels, you can always slide a blanket in between your seat and your heels. If you feel anything in the knees, then that's also a nice modification as well, just to decrease the flexion of your knees so you have more space behind the backs of your knees. And if your head doesn't quite touch the floor, you can always slide a block or, again, a rolled up blanket underneath there. So you just feel that your whole body is completely supported by the floor or your props as well. And if you'd like to make this more restorative, you can always grab a bolster if you have one, or roll a blanket, slide that in between your legs and rest your torso down on it as well. So this is your practice, and you can modify anything that you need to. And especially if you're working with any injuries this evening, just make sure that you're listening to your body. So you're not forcing yourself, you're not doing anything that feels painful or trying to push past anything. You're really just surrendering to the practice, which is what the Yin practice is all about. It encourages relaxation and acceptance. It's very yielding and nurturing. Just feel the comfort here of the earth supporting your weight. And let your hips and your heart get nice and heavy as they sink a little heavier into the floor. We're going to be here for just under a minute now. This pose is a really nice one to start with as you just feel all your energy slowing down. Child's pose helps to soothe your nervous system and ease any feelings of stress or anxiety. So with each exhale, just feel yourself letting go of anything that's weighing you down, anything that isn't serving you. Just let yourself take one more really big inhale here. And take a clearing exhale out. When you're ready, start to roll yourself all the way back up. Just coming up nice and slowly onto your hands and knees. Now just to stretch out the legs for a moment, we're going to spread the fingers wide. Tuck under your toes and start to lift your knees and hips, pressing back to a brief downward facing dog. So this isn't strictly a Yin pose. It's always nice just to balance out the Yin energy with a sprinkling of Yang. So as you reach your hips up and back, you might want to pedal out through your feet here, just making more space in the backs of the legs. And if you don't want to come into a down dog today, if it's going to ruin your day, you can just stretch one leg back behind you and just press down through the ball of the foot and back through the heel, walking forward and back. You can do the same thing on both sides. From here, we're going to come into a pose called dangling. So come back into your down dog if you're not there already. And start to walk your feet nice and gently up towards the top of your mat, keeping your knees nice and soft as you go. So you can bend your knees as much as you need to here. And this works the thighs a little bit more, but it just allows your spine to release completely. So as you fold forward, you might even rest your torso on your thighs. Just let your head and your neck release. Maybe shake out your head, yes and no a few times. Let your arms just drape down towards the floor. If this doesn't feel good for you at all, you can always come up higher. Just cross your arms and rest your arms on your knees. And you can work the pose here. We're only going to be here for a minute. So just let the crown of your head reach down towards the floor. Just give yourself a brain drain. Just letting any worries or stress relax out of your head and into the ground. And this one also loosens the hamstrings, but it's a little bit different to your regular forward bend that you might do in other styles of yoga. We're working the fronts of the thighs a little bit more with the knees bent. And the intention here is just to let the spine relax completely. And so many of us carry tension in our back bodies that sometimes it just feels nice to let all of that go. So when you're ready here, you can bring your hands back down towards the floor, bending your knees as much as you need to. And then walk your hands back to your downward facing dog. And release your knees down towards the floor. So that's the only pose we're going to do on our feet today. Everything else is right down here on the ground. So from here, we're going to come into a swan or a sleeping swan pose. If you want to come back into your down dog and come into it from there, then of course you can. Otherwise, step your right foot forwards up towards your right thumb. And you can use your hand to help your foot there if you like. And start to heel toe your right foot over towards the back of your left wrist. And then slide that foot in closer. Unless you're super open in the hip, you can take the shin further forwards. Then opening out from the hip, let your right shin find the ground. So you really want to make sure here that you're opening out from the hip, that you're not just drawing the knee forward. So you get that nice opening in the outer right hip. But when the right foot is closer towards you, and if this feels like too much, then draw it in even more. Point the foot so the top of the foot comes to the floor, and that just protects your knee. If your hips are quite high up here, feel free to support them with a block, a bolster, a folded up blanket can be really nice under the right hip. But you might want to try inching the left knee and toes a little bit further back and seeing if your hips come a little bit closer to the floor. And then let yourself take a really big inhale as you open up through your heart. Just check in and see how this feels here. If you want to stay, then you can stay upright. Or as you exhale, you can start to melt down, coming into your sleeping swan. You might stay here on your forearms. You might take a bolster underneath your chest if you have one, or a pillow. You can relax all the way down to the floor. If you're kind of in that space in between, you can either just let the head relax down or grab a block or a rolled up blanket and just place that underneath your forehead. And a gentle pressure there on your third eye when you place something under your forehead, whether it's the floor or a block, just encourages your energy and attention a little bit deeper inwards. So we're going to stay here for about 1.5 minutes more. And if for whatever reason this really doesn't feel good in your knees or your hips, you can always take a different variation on your back. This just takes all the weight off your knees, so you're not weight bearing at all. You can cross your right ankle over your left knee. And maybe you just press the tops of your thighs away, or you can draw your legs in towards you. You're still going to get that really nice stretch in the outer right hip, but without that extra pressure on your knees. And this one can start to feel quite intense, especially as we go a little bit deeper into our hips. So just let yourself breathe into whatever it is that you feel here. Experiencing every single sensation. And then as you exhale, feel any tightness or tension beginning to leave your body. Just going to take one more inhale. And exhale completely. And on your next breath in, gently roll yourself all the way back up. Now from here, we're going to lean over into the right hip. Just so you have space to sweep your left leg all the way around and on top. So here the left knee is stacking on top of your right. Now if this is too much with both knees bent, you can always extend your right leg out in front of you. And with this variation, you'll also get a nice stretch in the back of the calf and the hamstring as well. So just choose which variation works for you. And again, you can do this on your back here, wrapping the knees, reaching for the outsides or inside edges of your feet and relaxing down. But if you're here upright, you can lean yourself forwards and really snuggle that right knee underneath your left. And it doesn't matter if the knees aren't flush together. If they're not, you can always slide a blanket, a pillow, anything that you have there in between your knees. And then with the heels drawing in closer towards your hips, feel slightly easier for your hips. If you want more, you can walk the heels further away from you. But just check in and see how this feels here. Both sitting bones are rooted down. You might want to stay upright here. Or you can start to crawl your hands forwards any amount. And it's fine here to let the spine round as your forehead drops. And start to relax into each inhale and exhale. This is tugging anywhere in your back body, especially if you have sciatica or anything like that. You might want to sit on top of a blanket or a block, just so your knees are lower than your hips. And you might want to stay more upright as well. In this quiet, still space, you can really begin to tune in to your body's intelligence. Your body will always show you when you've gone too far, or perhaps you've not gone far enough. Just find that place of resistance. And once you find it, breathe into it. Just using each inhale and exhale to melt some of that resistance away. So your next inhale, start to come all the way up. Take your right fingertips out to the side. Take a big inhale as you stretch your left arm all the way up and overhead. It's getting a nice side stretch here for a moment. You can soften your left shoulder, your left elbow. Maybe drop your right ear down towards your right shoulder just to open up the left side of your neck. Feel that left hip really rooting down. Opening up your side ribs, maybe even stretching out your lower back as well. And as you inhale, come all the way back up. If you want to just give your arms a little bit of a shake, you can. Then we're going to reverse that here. So you can unravel your legs, releasing the left leg back behind you, coming through that swan shape on the right side. Place your hands down underneath your shoulders, and if you want to step back to a down dog, you can, or just slide your right shin back so you find your way back onto all fours. And anything that feels good here, if you want to stretch it out in your dog, feel free to pedal out through the feet. You might want to reach one leg back behind you and then the other. It feels nice just to take a few rounds of cat and cow. You can breathe your way through that as well. And follow what feels good to you. Move in a way that invites a sense of release and relief from anything that you're feeling. And then when you're ready, we're going to come into the second side. So already you might notice the difference between your right and left hips. We're going to take the left foot forwards, using your hands to help you move your foot to the front of the mat if you like. And then start to heel toe your left foot over towards the back of your right wrist. Draw your foot closer in towards you, and then let the left shin find the ground. So you can point the foot so the top of the foot comes to the floor. That just protects your knee joint. But of course, if you're more open and you want to draw that left shin more parallel to the front of the mat, then flex the foot back. Start to shimmy your right knee and toes further back behind you. Release the top of the foot down. And if you'd like to support your hips with any props that you have there, go ahead and grab them. Make sure this feels as comforting as it can be as we dive deeper into the hips. Take a big inhale here to open up. And as you exhale, if it feels good to you, start to bow forwards, relaxing down to the ground. And so all of these poses tonight, we're going to hold for no more than 3 minutes. And in Yin, we can hold the poses from anywhere between 1 and 20 minutes. Which just allows our bodies to open up in their own time. We want to find a balance here between effort and surrender. Just notice if there's any part of your body that is holding any extra tension. Can you loosen your grip? We always say the hips are the emotional storehouses of tension in our bodies. And all of the emotions that we don't want to deal with, we tend to bury and push them down there, which is why so many of us are tight in our hips. So as you breathe into the sensations that you feel here, just notice them, bringing them up to the surface. And anytime you like to release your breath out through your mouth, just take a deep, clearing sigh out. And on your next breath in, begin to walk your hands back in towards you. You can lean over into your left hip now. Sweep your right leg around. So your right knee is stacking on top of your left. I'm going to turn around to face you here. So if you want to lean forwards, just so you can really snuggle your left knee under your right heel, you can. And support that knee if you need to with anything in between. If you want to extend your left leg out straight, that's another modification, or you can take this one on your back as well. This is your shoelace pose. You're wrapping yourself up, tying yourself in knots. Sometimes we have to wrap ourselves up to unravel. So sitting in between your heels, both sit bones rooting down into the ground. You can adjust this by drawing your feet in closer towards you or sliding them further away. And then take a big inhale here at the top. Again, you might want to sit on top of something just to elevate your seat so the pelvis starts to tilt forwards rather than roll back. You're not dumping into your lower back. And you might stay upright, especially if you've got any lower back issues. I definitely recommend keeping the spine straight. If you're okay here, you can start to walk the hands forwards. And as this is a completely passive pose, with all the poses in Yin, you can let the spine round, and let your forehead drop. And as well as being a very obvious hip opener, you can probably feel your hips singing to you right now. When you fold forwards, this one also decompresses the spine. So we're really just working all of the different parts of our bodies that tend to carry tightness and tension. You might already be starting to feel a little bit more spaciousness in your body and your mind, maybe even in your heart. So just take one more inhale. An easy exhale. And as you breathe in, walk your hands back in towards you. We'll just finish with that side stretch here. So you can walk your left fingertips out to the side this time. Keep that right hip grounding down. And as you inhale, sweep the right arm all the way up and over. You might stay on the left hand, or you might drop down onto the forearm if you have the space. Keeping that right hip heavy. Just let your right elbow and your shoulder soften. The left ear can drop down towards your left shoulder, opening up the right side of your neck. Breathe into your side body. And then on your next breath in, come all the way up. So from here, we're just going to unravel the legs. You can lean back into your hands. Unwind your legs, and this time just take them straight out in front of you. It probably feels really good there just to release the backs of the legs, release the hips. You can just bounce the knees out a few times to release any pent-up tension there in your legs. Get everything moving and flowing again. For this next one, we're going to come into a caterpillar pose. And you can soften your knees as much as you need to as we get ready to fold forwards. If you have a bolster or a blanket that you can roll up, you might want to slide that behind the backs of your knees, especially if your knees are quite bent. You can also sit on top of your bolster as well, or sit on top of a blanket. Again, especially if you have sciatica or any lower back issues, this one can sometimes aggravate it. So either stay up higher and just explore as you start to fold forwards, but having that extra height underneath your seat just encourages the pelvis to tilt forwards rather than rolling back, which also tends to happen if you're quite tight in your hamstrings as well. Another option, if you want to skip this pose entirely, is to take legs up the wall, which is just simply the shape on your back with your legs up the wall. Your hips slid right up to the edge of the skirting board there. So if that's one you want to take instead, please go ahead and do that. But when you're ready, take a big inhale. And as you exhale, start to relax down into stillness. And let your head and your neck go. You can always use your bolster or pillow or blanket on top of your legs here as well, just to give you some extra support as you relax down. Perhaps make this a little bit more restorative. We're just going to stay here for a couple of minutes. So as you breathe here, start to send your breath into your back body, into the back of your heart, your kidneys, and your adrenals. And the energetic body, the kidneys are associated with the emotion of fear. So if that's something that you're feeling right now, breathe into your kidneys and nourish them with your breath. And in the same way, if you're stressed, the adrenal glands are those little Santa-shaped hats that sit right on top of the kidneys. And they regulate our body's response to stress and the hormones that our body produces, especially cortisol. So again, you can feel yourself breathing into the adrenals. And this pose also massages your heart. The last few moments here. Surrender completely. Breathe into whatever you feel. Curl into the coziest and most comforting parts of yourself. As you come back to a place of calm. So on your next breath in, just gently roll yourself all the way back up to sit. You can bend your knees. Shift your hips slightly forwards. And I'm going to come all the way down onto our backs now. So with your feet flat on the ground, you can hold somewhere behind your legs just for a bit of extra support. And then rounding through your spine, pulling your front body towards your back body, feeling the core activating. Start to roll yourself all the way down onto your back. We're just going to close out this part of the practice before we move into our Yoga Nidra with a reclined spinal twist. So you can open your arms out into a T shape, or if you don't have the space, you can bend your elbows, cactus your arms. And then press your feet down into the floor and lift your hips up and over towards the left side of your mat. Before you draw your knees into your chest and drop them all the way over to the right. And just let everything get super heavy there. And if your knees don't make it all the way down to the ground, You can always support them with a block beneath or in between your knees, or even a blanket, whatever you have there. And just for a moment, press down into the backs of your elbows and the back of your skull, and lift your shoulders and slide them an inch or two towards the right. And then let that left shoulder drop down nice and heavy. If you've got anything going on in your shoulders, any rotator cuff injuries, anything like that, then perhaps you don't want to open the arms. You can just let the hands rest down on your legs, on your chest, whatever feels most comfortable to you. Then you can turn your gaze over the opposite shoulder. And that can feel like a really nice stretch for your neck without creating any extra tension in your neck. If that doesn't work for you, just gaze up towards the sky or keep gazing in the same direction as your knees. And if there are any last little lingering bits of physical tension that you feel, just imagine yourself letting them go as you exhale. Twists are gently detoxifying, cleansing poses, so this is the perfect time to release that tension. We're just going to take one more inhale. And as you exhale, come all the way back up through center, unraveling yourself. And as you fall onto your back, you might want to slide your hips back to the middle of your mat. Open your arms out again. And this time we'll press down through the feet, lift the hips up and over towards the right as you draw your knees into your chest and drop them over towards the left. You can use that left hand to weigh down your right thigh if you like. Lift your shoulders, slide them an inch or two to the left. If you want to relax your arms down, especially if there's any tingling in your hands that feels uncomfortable, just let your arms rest wherever they want to land. And you can turn your gaze over your right shoulder. And I always like to end my practices, my classes with twists, just because they're a really nice way of restoring equilibrium, balancing your nervous system. And this time, if there are any last little bits of emotional or mental, even spiritual tension that you're carrying, this is the perfect place to let it go. We're just going to be here for another minute. So the lower your knees are, the more you'll feel this in the lower spine. The higher up your knees, the more you'll feel this in the middle, the upper spine. And with the knees higher, that can also help to relieve sciatica as well. So just for the last few breaths here, let go of any kinks or knots. Just preparing to slide right into Shavasana in a moment. And you don't need to push into the twist, just relax. And let gravity take over. And then just take one more inhale. And as you exhale, release your twist. Come back up through center. You might want to shift your hips back into the middle of your mat and hook your knees into your chest for a moment. Give yourself a hug. Enjoy that moment of connection as we gather all of the energy, calming energy that you've cultivated into your center. Maybe draw your forehead in towards your knees as well, and just roll around a bit there on your back. Just letting any tension relax out of your back and into the floor. And then when you're ready, you can stretch your legs out long on the floor in front of you. Open your feet as wide apart as the mat, maybe even wider. And if you feel this in your lower back at all, you can always slide a bolster behind the backs of your knees, roll up a blanket, or take knocked knees with your feet wide, your knees falling in towards each other. Place a pillow behind your head, cover yourself with a blanket, whatever feels really nourishing to you. Just let yourself get nice and cozy here on the mat. For this final part of the practice, I'm going to guide you through Yoga Nidra. So just let yourself lie down and get completely comfortable here on the floor. Close your eyes if you haven't already. And feel yourself relaxing into the safety of your own container. Knowing that in this moment here, all is well. In your body, your mind, and your heart. Allow every cell of your being to relax a little bit more. And if you're new to Yoga Nidra, it translates as yogic sleep. And it's a practice where your body falls into the deepest state of relaxation, while your mind stays fully conscious and aware. It's a really healing and nourishing practice. It will replenish your energy. And it even has the power to change your physical and emotional responses to stress. And we start by setting a sankalpa, or an intention that's formed by your heart and mind. It's a deep inner longing, your deepest desires. It's almost like a prayer, focused on how you want to feel. So as you set your intention for this Yoga Nidra, ask yourself, how do I want to feel? Keep it simple and honest. Whatever that feeling is, turn it into a positive statement. One that's framed in the present tense, as though it was already happening for you, as though it was already your true experience. As if it was who you really are already. So it could just be something as simple as, I am calm, I am relaxed, I am peaceful and spacious, I am light, I am safe. Whatever that feeling is, take a big breath into it. feeling it come alive in every single cell of your body. And then as you exhale, let it go. In Yoga Nidra, you become super receptive to this energy. So soak it all up. And for the next 10 minutes here, just allow yourself to breathe and receive. So slowly, start to breathe all the way in, scanning your body for any feelings of stress or anxiety, any difficult emotions. And notice where they live in your body. And then breathe all the way out. And each time you breathe out, release any tightness or tension that you feel. It might be physical, mental, emotional. Just clear it all away. Each time you exhale, like clouds disappearing. Now take your attention down to your feet. Take a big breath in and feel them softening and relaxing as you breathe out. The next time you breathe in, let your awareness fill your legs. And when you breathe out slowly, allow your calves, your knees, and your thighs to continue releasing and relaxing. Let go completely. And then wrap your awareness around your hips. Breathe in deeply and feel them soften as you breathe out. Sinking and settling down into the support of the earth. Let it take all of your weight away. Float your attention now to your back. Breathe in, and as you breathe out slowly, feel the tension in your back dissolving, letting go more and more each time you exhale. Surround your shoulders with your awareness, like you were giving yourself a hug. Breathe in and feel them softening as you breathe out, releasing any tightness. Soothing your shoulders with slow and easy breathing. Let this relaxed feeling begin flowing down around your shoulders, infusing your arms and hands with peace and quiet. And become aware of your mouth. Unclench your teeth and let your lips part slightly. And as you continue breathing gently and softly, let your nose and cheeks smooth out. And allow your eyes and your forehead to soften. Imagine your pores opening as you breathe, feeling your whole self releasing and expanding as any anxiety or stress melts away. And as you relax deeper and deeper, the peacefulness brings to mind the quiet, sacred sanctuary that's entirely your own. A comfortable, cozy, and safe place where you're surrounded with exactly what you need. Let this moment be your medicine. Bring this space alive by using all of your senses. What can you see, hear, smell, taste, or touch? This is a special place to feel protected, safe, and understood, where you can spend some time getting to know the real you. The person you were before the world told you who you should be. And feeling safe to be here. Free from stress or anxiety. Allow yourself to breathe here, effortlessly. And enjoy exploring this nourishing space. And after a while, guide your attention back to your breath. Coming home to yourself. feeling whole as you replenish your energy with every inhale and exhale. Whenever you're ready, start to stir your body now by sending tiny flickers of movement through your fingers and your toes. Circle your wrists and your ankles. And take a big breath in and extend your arms up and overhead, reaching out through your fingers and out through your toes in a full body stretch. And as you exhale, just let everything drop where it is in space. Start to draw your knees back in towards your chest, giving yourself one last hug. Gathering all of the energy that you've cultivated back into your center. And then roll yourself over to one side or the other. And keeping your eyes closed, start to press your way back up into a comfortable seat. Just taking your time as you move. And as you come up to sit, just let yourself be still here for a moment. Noticing how you feel. And on your next inhale, float your arms out to the sides and all the way up to the sky, gathering all of this calming energy in. And as you press your palms together overhead, enjoy your thumbs through the center line of your body, realigning your energy as you plug your thumbs back into your heartbeat. And then start to rub your hands together nice and quickly, just stimulating some heat in between your palms. And the yogis say the hands are connected to the heart, so we're just activating the heart chakra here. And then bring your hands over your heart space, just feeling the warmth seeping in, holding your heart in this moment, reconnecting with yourself, feeling calm and safe in this space, knowing that you can return to it at any time, and it's always waiting. So bringing your hands back into a prayer. Bow your brain down towards your heart, just thanking yourself for taking the time to show up for this practice. Hopefully now you feel a little lighter and more spacious from the inside out. And getting ready to take that calming energy with you. Slowly curl the corners of your mouth up into a smile and keep that on your face as you lift your gaze, taking it out into your evening. And when you're ready, you can blink your eyes back open to the room. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. From my heart to yours, namaste.